Good morning, students. Today we are continuing with the second part of human reproduction, that is your female reproductive system. You have already studied about your male reproductive system. Okay, now we are studying about the female reproductive system. In your male reproductive system, you have already understood the place or the site where sperms are produced is called as your primary sex organ, and that primary sex organ is the testis. So another term, testicle. Okay, so please remember, testis along with the scrotum, we call it as testicle. So, and you know about the associated structures with the testis or with the primary sex organ, that is your accessory ducts, your accessory glands, and the external genitalia. So that part is clear about the male reproductive system. Today we will be studying about the female reproductive system. So again, the location of the female reproductive system is in the pelvic region. So I hope it is clear. In the abdomen or the pelvic region, inside the abdomen we say. Okay, coming to your structure, please remember, this is the diagram that is asked for 5 marks. Okay, you have to practice it well and see how the labelings are done. With the scale, the line is shown and it is written neatly, straight it is written. Please do not write this way, okay, and write this way or this. No, please don't do that way. It is a shabby work. See that you are labeling it straight, either up direction, straight to the lateral sides. So just observe the structure here. This is your ovaries. Okay, ovaries. So they are present at the side, at each side. Okay, you all can see from the ovary there is something coming like a tube like structure. Now these are your accessory ducts. Okay, the accessory ducts is the one which will carry the egg. So we are showing the pathway like this. So that accessory duct is called as your fallopian tube, also called oviduct. So you will understand about the parts of the oviduct. Then coming to your womb, which is also called as the uterus, and then the region just before birth, it will open up. Okay, as well, yeah, it will open up and enter vagina, and that's how the delivery of the baby occurs. Not only the delivery of baby, even the insemination process is this direction. Okay, into the female reproductive tract. So I hope it is clear. So this is the location of insemination, and this is also called as your birth canal. Especially this region is called as your birth canal. So you got some idea over here. You should also look at this highlighted region, which is called as endometrium, and there are layers: myometrium, perimetrium. This is just an overview of what the structures are, where they are located. Okay, so now you should know how they are, kept inside the abdominal cavity. Of course, there is some strands. Okay, we call it as ligaments, which can attach to the, let me show you the picture. So you can see the ligament that is helping in the attachment to the abdominal cavity. So it can like stay firm. It can stay firm, not droop down. Okay, it should not droop down. So it has to stay firm. So they are attached with the help of the ligaments. You'll understand one by one. So observe this proportion. It is your pelvic region or the abdominal region. Abdominal cavity, pelvic region. Okay. So let us understand what it consists of. What does the female reproductive system consists of? So it consists of, the main is the pair of ovaries. So along with the ovaries, we have to know that there are a pair of ducts and uterus, cervix, vagina and the external genitalia. Now where all these are located? In the pelvic region. Okay, so you should be able to answer the parts of female reproductive system: pair of ovaries, pair of oviducts, single uterus, cervix, vagina and the external genitalia. Okay, now this female reproductive system is associated or integrated along with mammary glands. So in females, mammary gland is the characteristic feature. Okay, sexual characteristic feature. So this is integrated along with the your reproductive system. The female reproductive system is integrated along with the mammary glands. So how is it integrated? It is integrated structurally and functionally to support the processes. What kind of processes? Ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth and child care. To know what is ovulation, it is a release of ovum from the ovary. Okay, release of ovum from the ovary is called as ovulation. Fertilization you know very well. Syngamy, that is a fusion of gametes. Pregnancy, you know about your 9 months period where the zygote develops into a fetus, that is zygote, then embryo, then fetus. Birth you all know, that is your delivery of baby. And child care, that is your natal care we say. Breastfeeding and proper care. Now let us understand the parts in details, the parts of reproductive system of females. You already know ovary, that is the primary sex organ. Why it is called the primary sex organ? Because it produces the ovum. Okay, it produces ovum, the female gamete. So it produces single ovum at a time. Sperms are released or produced many number at a time. Okay, so the difference you should know: sperms are produced in many numbers, whereas ovaries produce only single ovum. Testes produce millions of sperms. So you should know this difference. So you have understood about the primary sex organ. So ovary not only produces the female gamete, it also produces the steroidal hormones, which we call it as ovarian hormones. So we have to remember, as the gametogenesis occur, that is the formation of gamete occurs, there are even hormones involved for the production of gamete, because once the gamete is fused or fertilization is successful, then the gametes should be halted. Formation of gamete should be halted. So who will halt it? The ovarian hormones. Why do we halt it? Because of the pregnancy. I hope you're getting the idea. Don't worry, we'll understand in future topics, in coming topics. This is what I explained. So this is the egg that is released, which is ovum. Okay, once it has released, it has to reach till here. So it has to enter through the oviduct. So we have written here oviduct, also called as fallopian tube. So just observe in this picture, you can see here your blue arrow and the red arrow. Okay, just observe what is written here: site of fertilization. Okay, and this region is where sperm enters or penetrates the ovum and fertilizes. Okay, so this is one idea I gave you where the fertilization occurs. So you understood about the ovary. The associated or integrated structure is your mammary gland, and you have already understood it is this ovaries are producing the female gamete as well as producing the steroidal hormones for the proper functioning. Let us understand a little more. Where is ovary located? One on each side of the lower abdomen. Okay, so one on each side. When I say one on each side, one on right, one on left. Okay, so the length they have given here, 2 to 4 centimeters. How they are connected? They are connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by the help of ligaments. Let me just show you the picture here. Observe the background here. You can see some kind of picture that way. Yes. So that means there are certain ligaments. There are certain ligaments that is attaching to the uterine wall, as well as to the, imagine this is the pelvic region, abdominal cavity. So we are saying it is attached to the pelvic wall, inner pelvic wall, as well as the uterus. Okay. So that is what this sentence means. This sentence, to the pelvic wall and the uterus with the help of ligaments. Each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium which encloses the ovarian stroma. For this you have to understand the section of the ovary. So you can observe here there is a covering, okay, which is your epithelium, and within it is your stroma. So if you observe, there is a region which is empty here, a region where the certain shapes of certain various stages you can find, talking about the follicles. Okay, so you will understand about that in a little while later. So they're here. So please remember, ovary is covered by a thin epithelium and encloses the ovarian stroma. So this is your ovarian stroma. This whole thing is your ovarian stroma, which is divided into two parts. One is your peripheral cortex, inner medulla. Peripheral to the edges, peripheral. Inner, it is this portion. Inner region is called as medulla. Okay. Cortex is your peripheral region. Okay. So let us now, we have understood about ovary. Now we are going with the associated parts with the reproductive system, that is the accessory ducts. First we will study about the oviducts, then followed by uterus and vagina. So first, the oviducts, which is also called as fallopian tube, is 10 to 12 centimeter long. The part closer to ovary is a funnel shaped like, which is called infundibulum. Observe the picture. This is the portion. I am referring the diagram from your textbook. So you can observe here. This is the portion, the funnel-like structure, which is called as infundibulum. Observe the finger-like projection, okay, which is called as your fimbriae. Followed by infundibulum is your ampulla, and then the last isthmus. Okay, so you have understood part closer to ovary, which is funnel shaped. Okay, so one mark question, what is infundibulum? It is a funnel shaped like structure close to ovary is called as your infundibulum. Now the edges of infundibulum possess finger like projection, as I showed before. Okay, is called as fimbriae. Why it is needed? It is needed for the collection of ovum after ovulation. So ovulation you understood, that is the process of release of the ovum. So imagine one ovary releases. You know that each ovary will function once in a month. Okay, so first this ovary will function at this time, at the same time this one will stay at the rest position. Okay, so it is like one ovary becomes active at each month. So they are taking alternative terms. So as they take the turn, I am just taking an example. This ovary is releasing the ovum, okay, and this ovum will be taken in by the fimbriae. Now the diagram seems to be very far. How the ovum is taken up by the fimbriae. Remember, it will be a little more closer, and that will be helpful for the ovary to easily release its ovum and for the fimbriae to easily take in the ovum. So this is how the entry takes place. So this is your finger like projection called fimbriae. So I hope it is clear why fimbriae is needed. It is mainly helping in the collection of ovum. Infundibulum leads to a wider part. So remember, even for your male reproductive system, after vas deferens, you have come across a little wider part which is called as ampulla. So similarly here also, any wider part we name it as ampulla here. So just compare in your free time. Remember this, infundibulum leads into a wider part called ampulla. So wider part of oviduct, okay, in the female reproductive system is called as ampulla. So remember, it is the wider part of oviduct or fallopian tube. So fimbriae is present on infundibulum. Infundibulum is a funnel shaped structure. Infundibulum opens into a wider part of oviduct called ampulla. The last is isthmus, which is the last part of oviduct. It has a narrow lumen and joins the uterus. So your last part is your isthmus. Okay. Now you understood this region is ampulla, this region is isthmus. So it is narrow and joining the uterus. Just observe here again. We are showing the two regions, and the site of fertilization will be almost in this place. So the chances of fertilization will be any of this place, any site of this tube, of the fallopian tube, which we call it as isthmic ampullary junction. Okay, you will understand one by one. I'm just giving you an idea now, so later you can get a better clarity as it is explained again. Second part, it is uterus. It is single in number. It is also called as womb, and it is shaped like an inverted pear. So to know what is that uterus, remember I said the womb. This is the womb. Okay, so you just observe here. If you just tilt it, I cannot tilt it right now. If you just look at this direction, if you keep your screen upside down, you might observe it to be a pear shaped. Okay, your pear shaped structure. That's why it is inverted pear shaped. This is the womb, also called as womb. And it is single in number and supported by the ligaments attached to pelvic wall. And the uterus opens into vagina through a narrow cervix. Just to make you clear with the picture, as I said, this is your ligaments attached to the womb, so it can stay firm. So it will open into your cervix and then finally vagina. So it will, that's what the sentence says, uterus opens into vagina through the cervix. I hope it is clear, the sentence. The cavity of the cervix is called as cervical canal. Okay, and cervical canal along with vagina is together called birth canal. So you all understood now why it is called birth canal. That is the region where the birth or the delivery of the baby occurs, of the young one. So this cervix along with your vagina together, it is cervical canal, not cervix, cervical canal, and the vagina together, it is called as your birth canals. Cervix is a region, okay, or your passage we can say. The canal is, or the empty space is called as your canal. Cervical canal, cervix and cervical canal. Cervix is the part. So this is clear. 1 mark question. What is cervical canal? What is birth canal? Now this womb has 3 layers. Okay. It is stretchable also. So you will understand one by one how this uterus is in its nature. The external is thin membranous. It is thin, membranous. That is why it is helpful for the expansion during the pregnancy period. So which is called as perimetrium. Okay, it's a perimetrium. I is missing. So PERI, perimetrium. The second one is a smooth muscle layer, which is called as myometrium. You all know the term myofibrils, which you have come across in your structural organization in animals, about your muscles we were saying about. Okay, yes, over there you have already understood about the muscles, which we termed it as myometrium. The smooth layer, you all know very well, it is involuntary, you cannot control it. It is the main role you can find myometrium in the parturition process. Parturition is nothing but the delivery of baby, which I have written down. It is useful for the contractions, strong contractions during the parturition or the delivery of the baby. Then the innermost is the endometrium, which is glandular in layer. When I say glandular, every month it keeps proliferating. Proliferation means what? It will again divide and grow back into a new layer. Okay, so that is why I am saying this endometrium is able to proliferate, and this is the one which lines the inner uterine cavity. That is why we get the monthly cycles, the shedding of endometrium. So this is what they have told: endometrium undergoes cyclic changes during menstrual cycle. Then the next part is the female external genitalia. Here all these whichever I have written can be asked for 1 mark question, or the whole question can be asked for 5 marks. Okay, write a note or describe the parts of female external genitalia. You should be able to write all these 5 parts. So let us understand what and all it includes. Mons pubis. So mons pubis is a cushion of fatty tissue covered with skin and pubic hair. Not public, it's a mistake, it's pubic. Sorry, typing errors happen to me. So this is a diagram which I have taken from the internet. Okay, if you are finding it difficult to understand, then only refer this. Otherwise, no need of referring this diagram. This is not at all needed. Only if you are finding to understand, to get the parts known where it is located. So this is the region. Here they have not mentioned the name, but this is your pubic hair. Okay, and this is the cushion fatty tissue, which is your mons pubis. On this fat tissue you find this pubic hair. Okay, so you can find here labia majora, labia minora. About that, it's over here. Labia majora, labia minora. Labia majora is a fleshy fold of tissue. So remember, fleshy fold of tissue which is extended down from mons pubis surrounding the vaginal opening. Labia minora, paired folds of tissue under labia majora. So it's understood here. So this is from your mons pubis. It is downwards called labia majora. Below the labia majora is labia minora. So I hope it is clear. Please remember the diagram is not important. Coming to hymen, a 1 mark question. So hymen is a membranous layer that is partially covered. Remember, it is partially covered, not completely covered. So partially covering which spot? The opening of vagina. So there is one myth that is told. If the hymen gets broken, then she is not a virgin. Is it true? No. Because hymen can be either broken because of the horse ride. Okay, the heavy jerk causes the breaking of hymen. Okay, that is what we say. This is why it doesn't indicate the virginity. Okay, so when I say virginity, they have not undergone intercourse or coitus. The intercourse and coitus is nothing but your mating, which we call in other word the term sex. Okay, so please understand, this hymen does not indicate anything regarding virginity. It does not. It was an old myth saying that if the hymen is already broken, that means she is not virgin. It is not true. Hymen can be broken in two ways. During the first coitus, that is during the first sex, that is when the hymen gets broken. Yes, this is the time she loses the virginity. But what about this time during the horse ride? It is not losing virginity over there. It is an accidental cause. Okay, so we are saying it may be due to the horse ride. That's why we say if the hymen is broken, it is not talking about virginity at all. Okay, so there are both the cases. Let us not take that myth into consideration or very seriously. So it is only a myth, a belief, which is more clearly told about in scientific way. Then the last part is your clitoris, a tiny finger-like structure which lies at upper junction of the two labia minora, just above the urethral opening. To make you clear, this is the portion which they have already told, clitoris. So you can hear also, you can observe. So I hope it is clear. You can also see vagina comes under your, that is the birth canal. Okay, the opening. The partial opening you can see, you can observe the partial opening. That is your hymen. Okay. So we'll go to the next, that is your integrated structure. As I've told before, female reproductive structure is integrated along with mammary glands. Why it is integrated? They both work hand in hand. So the moment the fertilization occurs, if the egg gets fertilized, when I say egg gets fertilized, I'll just go back. You remember, and in the oviduct, the fertilization occurs. So if it occurs, it will see that this egg, the fertilized egg, goes and implants. Let me show you another color. Implants in this region. Implants in the sense it goes and attaches to the uterine wall. So that womb will help for the nourishment of the zygote into embryo into fetus. During that process, even the mammary gland should prepare milk. So this is all, we call it as your integrated process, which we say in one or two sentences, but in the physiology part, the function and the structure associated it, which if you have to study, is a very unique and characteristic in females. So we'll understand about the mammary glands now. This is again a question of asked for 3 marks. 3-mark question. So observe here, you can find certain structures like this. Okay, inside that again you can find the cloud-like structures. So you have to know those, whatever I've told, like these structures, those are your lobes, and within them you can find that small clouds, that was your alveoli, alveolus, singular alveolus, plural alveoli, and from the alveoli whatever milk is synthesized is sent or secreted into the ducts, which is called as your mammary duct. Finally they collect into the last final duct called as lactiferous duct. So again you can find a wider regions here called as ampulla. So here this is all your fatty tissue. Okay, fatty tissue to keep it warm because it's a glandular tissue, and this is the external part, that is a nipple. So here you can see the adipose tissue. Actually whatever is here is your adipose tissue, the fat. This is about the behind to the breast. Mammary glands are also called as breasts. So that you can find ribs, the muscles between the ribs is called as your intercostal muscles, and there are between these two, the sideways you can say, is your pectoralis major muscles. So see that this is studied. Okay, this question, since there are more than 8 labelings, this can be asked for 5 marks or 3-mark question. Okay, so if it is 3 marks, put 6 labelings. If it is 5 marks, put 8 or 10 labelings. Okay. Let us understand about mammary glands. So you understood about the diagram. You should know the theory part as well. So the functional mammary glands is the characteristic feature in females. Why did I say functional? Because there are certain cases you might have seen in case of males, they have the development of mammary glands. Okay, so the development of breast, which is not functional. So we are talking about the functional mammary glands here, which occurs in females. So this is, in case of males, it is an inborn error, which you will understand later why it happens. We'll be studying in the genetics chapter. Okay. So please remember this. The characteristic feature in females is your functional mammary glands. You should know they are paired in structure. They are paired. When I say paired, they are 2 in number. They are also called as breasts. What do they contain? They contain glandular tissue and variable amount of fat or adipose tissue. Coming to the description of each part in the mammary gland. So each breast consists of the glandular tissue. I hope you understood what is that glandular tissue. This is the glandular tissue which is lobed. Okay, they are glandular tissue. Why is it called gland? Because it synthesizes and secretes. Okay, it synthesizes and secretes. That's why it's called as gland. So glandular tissue, and it is divided into many mammary lobes. So we are talking about the mammary gland, also called as breast, which consists of the glandular tissue. This glandular tissue you can divide into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. Is it just one? So this is whole your glandular tissue, which is divided into 15 to 20 mammary lobes. So each mammary lobe contains cluster of cells called alveoli. So I hope it is understood. Each is alveolus, one. Many in one lobe. It is called as cluster of cells called alveoli. Alveoli secretes milk, which is stored in the lumens of alveoli. So as soon as it is secreting, it synthesizes and secretes. So it will be first stored in the lumens of alveoli, and when it is sucked by the young one, the alveoli opens into the mammary tubules. Mammary tubules of each lobe joins to form mammary ducts. So I hope it is clear. From the mammary lobes, tubules come out. Okay, so that is alveoli present inside the lobe, secretes milk into the mammary tubules. Let me show with the picture. So you can find the mammary lobe and alveoli releasing milk into the mammary tubule. I hope it is clear. Mammary tubule of each lobe joins to form mammary ducts, which you have clearly seen in the picture. You can see it joins the mammary duct. Several mammary ducts join to form a wider mammary ampulla. Okay, the duct which is wider is called as mammary ampulla. The ampulla is connected to final, that is the last part, lactiferous duct. Okay, through which the young one or the baby gets the milk. There is a mistake here. It is sucked out. Okay, that is SUCK. So when the milk gets sucked out, please remember the words to be added. I'll correct and send the PDF for you, which the milk gets sucked out. So we are done with the female reproductive system. Just to recall, in order you have to go. So you know about the primary sex organ, that is the ovaries. It is not only producing the gamete, it also produces the hormones. So this is your important 5-mark question. Okay, 5-mark question. Please practice this twice. And you should know what are the parts of the reproductive system, which we already started, and it is located in the pelvic region. You should also know to which organ it is integrated. It is integrated along with the mammary glands. So female reproductive system is integrated structurally and functional to support the processes for that is of ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, birth, and child care. So about ovary, you all know, one on each side, on each lateral side, connected with the help of ligaments to the pelvic wall and the uterus. It is covered with the thin epithelium. You can observe here the thin epithelium, okay, enclosing the stroma, and the stroma is divided into two regions or two zones: peripheral cortex, inner medulla. The second, which you should know, the primary sex organ is clear. Now we are studying along with the primary sex organ what and all are associated. So it is your accessory ducts, that is your oviducts, uterus and vagina. So oviducts, also called as fallopian tube, it has the funnel shaped infundibulum. It has infundibulum has finger like structures called finger like projections called fimbriae. The role of fimbriae is to collect ovum after ovulation. Infundibulum leads to a wider part of oviduct called ampulla, and the final final part of the oviduct is isthmus, which has a narrow lumen and joins the uterus. Coming to the uterus, it is single in number, also called as womb, shaped like an inverted pear and supported by ligaments attached to pelvic wall. Then uterus opens into vagina. This is your third accessory duct, your number third one, which is through the narrow cervix it leads. So uterus opens into a cervix and then into the vagina. That's how the pathway is. Cervix has the cavity, so cavity of cervix is called as your cervical canal. So along with cervical canal, the vagina and the cervical canal together, it is called as birth canal. The three layers of uterus: perimetrium, myometrium, endometrium. Perimetrium is the one which is thin and membranous, which can able to expand and as well as retract back to the same original place, the shape. Myometrium, it's a smooth muscle layer usually required during the delivery of baby, that is creating or exhibiting strong contractions. And then the innermost is your endometrium, which is your glandular layer. So that is the one which undergoes cyclic changes during the menstrual cycle. Then associated part along with your primary sex organ is your female external genitalia, which consists of mons pubis, labia majora, labia minora, hymen and clitoris. Okay, this is a 1-mark question. Why hymen does not indicate the virginity of a female? Because it can be broken off due to the horse ride. This is not needed. This is only to make you understand. I gave you the picture. About mammary glands, you already understood. It is an integrated structure along with the female reproductive system. This is asked for 3-mark or 5-mark question. Please be ready. Practice it 2 times. So it's a functional mammary gland, which is a characteristic feature in females. It is paired, okay, also termed as breasts. So if the question is asked what are mammary glands, you can say it is the characteristic feature in females and contains glandular tissue and variable amount of fat. So this is about the parts, which is already clearly told, which I'll explain here in the picture. So your breast, each breast consists of glandular tissue. This is called as glandular tissue. Okay, glandular tissue is divided into 15 to 20 lobes. So mammary lobes. Each mammary lobe contain alveoli, that is cluster of cells called alveoli. alveoli secrete milk and secrete into the mammary tubule. Mammary tubule, okay, together joins to form your mammary duct. Mammary duct again opens to form the wider part. You can see the wider part, mammary ampulla, and finally it opens up into lactiferous duct, which is then sucked out by the young one. Okay, so the milk gets sucked out through the nipple. So I hope it is clear. The adipose tissue is present to keep the organ warm. Okay, this is your all questions. Please answer and submit before 10 o'clock. If any doubts you have, please do ask. Okay, thank you.